This is dispatches from r/gym horror stories, the subreddit where the women of America have been for the last decade, documenting in meticulous detail the exact psychological profile of the men who are, at this very moment, pretending to spot them on the leg press. It is a corpus. It is an archive. It is, quite possibly, the most extensive ethnographic record of the modern American creep ever assembled outside of a courtroom. Tonight, 5 letters, 5 small crimes committed in the well-lit, air-conditioned, ostensibly supervised environment of a 24-hour fitness franchise. 1 phone set on the floor at a 47-degree angle. 1 package of 12 raw eggs cracked at 11 a.m. into a blender bottle on top of the squat rack platform. 1 arrest. 1 ASMR microphone. 1 restraining order filed at the county courthouse in person by a woman who just wanted to do legs on Thursday. Let us begin.
47 degrees.
The angle is not a coincidence. The angle is the confession. 47 degrees is the specific angle required to frame a woman's lower body from behind, at a distance of approximately 8 feet from a phone propped up inside a shoe. No man has ever set a phone at 47 degrees by accident. 47 degrees is a crime scene.
Letter the first. r/gym horror stories. The title. Quote, I caught a guy filming me on the leg press from a 47-degree angle using a gym shoe as a tripod. End quote.
A GM shoe as a tripod.
An object which, in the catalog of makeshift filmmaking equipment, ranks beneath a rolled-up t-shirt and above a stack of pennies. A gym shoe, an Asics, a size 11, placed deliberately on the rubber flooring of a Planet Fitness at 7:45 on a Tuesday morning in order to achieve a specific vertical angle on a specific woman doing a specific exercise. This was planned.
Our author writes, quote, I am a 28-year-old woman. I lift. I am strong. I wear leggings to the gym because leggings are the clothing that humans wear to the gym. I do not wear them to be looked at. I wear them because I am at the gym. This should not need to be said in 22.6, but the subreddit suggests it does. End quote.
It should not need to be said.
A disclaimer that has, in the year of our Lord 2026, become a standing preamble to every single post in this subreddit. The women of the American gym have been forced, by the nature of the place, to include an opening affidavit declaring that their clothing is functional, because otherwise, in the comments, the men will arrive.
Quote, I was on the leg press. I had my headphones in. I was in the middle of my set. I looked up at the mirror across the room. I saw, in the mirror, a man crouched behind the leg press machine. He was not tying his shoe. The shoe was off his foot. The shoe was on the floor, upright, with his phone leaned against it. The screen was on. The front-facing camera was aimed at me. End quote.
The screen was on.
A detail that moves the scene in a single phrase from plausible deniability into confirmed recording. The screen is on. The camera is aimed. The shoe is doing its job. The shoe, for the record, is an innocent party. The shoe has been conscripted against its will. The shoe is also, technically, evidence.
Quote, I stood up. I walked around the leg press machine. The man, who I will call Phone Shoe, saw me coming. Phone Shoe grabbed his phone. Phone Shoe grabbed his shoe. Phone Shoe began, at an unnatural speed, walking toward the locker room. Phone Shoe was walking in his socks on a commercial gym floor with his shoe in his hand. End quote.
Walking in his socks.
The image is now permanent. A grown American man in workout shorts, sprinting across a commercial gym in white cotton athletic socks, carrying his own shoe in one hand and his own phone in the other, pursued by the woman he has just illegally filmed. The scene is so profoundly, physically, specifically humiliating that it should, by rights, be painted on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel of the subreddit.
Quote, I followed him. I said loudly, quote, that man was filming me, end quote. I said it twice. I said it 3 times. By the 3rd time, every person on the gym floor was looking. The front desk girl, a college student named Emma, picked up the phone and called her manager. The manager, a woman named Kelly, came out of the back office. Kelly is 5'2". Kelly looked like she was ready. End quote.
Kelly looked like she was ready.
Kelly has been waiting for this moment. Kelly has managed this gym for 4 years. Kelly has been warning corporate. Kelly has, at this exact moment, been handed by a benevolent universe, a specific man in one shoe, holding a phone with a recording on it. Kelly is about to have the best Tuesday of her entire career.
Quote, Kelly intercepted phone shoe at the locker room door. Kelly said, quote, sir, I need your phone, end quote. Phone shoe said, quote, no, end quote. Kelly said, quote, then I need you off the property, and the police are on their way, end quote. Phone shoe handed over the phone. The phone was unlocked. The camera roll was open. There were, at a quick count, 41 videos. All of them were of women. None of them were of him. End quote.
41 videos.
The quantity is the only surprise. 41. Not one. Not a slip. Not a single bad decision made by a man on a single bad day. 41 discreet, composed, angled, framed recordings of women on machines, at their own gyms, going about their own lives. This is not a lapse. This is a hobby. This is a practice. This is, in the specific sense, a portfolio.
Quote, the police arrived. The officer took Phone Shoe's name, his address, and his phone. Phone Shoe is 34 years old. Phone Shoe works in IT at a regional insurance company. Phone Shoe has a wife. Phone Shoe has a 5-year-old daughter. Phone Shoe was charged that afternoon with multiple counts of unlawful surveillance. His name, by the way, is in the public record. I will not repeat it here, but I Googled it, and it is. End quote.
IT is.
A sentence that lands with the full weight of its implication. Phone Shoe is not anonymous. Phone Shoe has a name. Phone Shoe has employers, a wife, a daughter, a credit score, an insurance license, and, as of Tuesday, a criminal complaint that will follow his name forever to the top of every Google result anyone ever runs on him. The shoe, in the end, cost Phone Shoe his entire life.
Letter the second, R/fitness. The title, quote, a guy in my gym cracked 12 raw eggs into a blender bottle on the squat rack platform, and the manager did nothing, end quote.
12 raw eggs.
A number that is not, in any reasonable macronutrient plan, supported by peer-reviewed science. 12 raw eggs is not breakfast. 12 raw eggs is a declaration. 12 raw eggs is a man who has decided, on a Saturday afternoon, in a commercial gym, that the laws of food safety and the laws of shared public space do not, personally, apply to him.
Our author writes, quote, I lift at a 24-hour fitness in Dallas. There is a guy who goes by, and I am not making this up, Chad. Chad is about 6'3". Chad weighs maybe 250. Chad has an entire second backpack that appears to be nothing but supplements. Chad has been banned and then unbanned from this gym twice. This is the third incident." End quote.
His name is Chad.
An unfortunate coincidence for which I would like to formally apologize on behalf of our own Chad, who is a good man and who has never, as far as I know, cracked a raw egg onto any commercial flooring in his life. This Chad is a different Chad. Our Chad is innocent.
I am a different Chad.
Noted for the record, our Chad is exonerated. The Dallas Chad is entirely on his own.
Quote, "On Saturday afternoon at approximately 11 a.m., Chad arrived at the gym. Chad went to the squat rack. Chad unloaded his second backpack. From the second backpack, Chad removed, in order, a large blender bottle, a metal whisk, and an intact carton of 12 extra-large cage-free brown eggs. Chad placed the eggs on the platform of the squat rack." End quote.
Extra large, cage-free, brown.
Chad has, even in the selection of the eggs themselves, revealed the architecture of his personality. Chad could have bought standard white large eggs. Chad chose brown. Chad chose cage-free. Chad, in his own mind, is not a man ruining a commercial gym with raw poultry products. Chad is a conscientious consumer. Chad is, in his own reading of the scene, the hero of an ethical journey.
Quote, "Chad then cracked all 12 eggs, one by one, directly into the blender bottle. Chad dropped one shell on the platform. Chad did not pick it up. Chad whisked the eggs with the metal whisk. Chad drank the raw eggs in approximately 35 seconds, standing on the squat rack platform, in full view of the entire gym floor." End quote.
35 seconds.
A medically irresponsible pace for a medically irresponsible quantity of a medically irresponsible food product. Chad has, in under 1 minute, consumed a day and a half of his daily protein target, approximately 1,100 milligrams of cholesterol, and a non-zero statistical probability of salmonella, while standing on a rubber platform that does not, by design, support the weight of consumed ova.
Quote, "I walked over to the manager's office. I said, quote, 'There is a man drinking raw eggs on the squat rack.' End quote. The manager, a man named Devin, looked at me. Devin said, quote, 'Is it Chad?' End quote. I said, quote, 'Yes,' end quote. Devin sighed. Devin said, quote, 'I will handle it in 5 minutes. Please do not film him. He likes to be filmed.' End quote.
He likes to be filmed.
The single most revealing sentence in the entire letter. Devin has not only identified the perpetrator by name, Devin has already developed a harm reduction strategy. Devin knows that filming Chad rewards Chad. Devin has, in the course of his job, become an unpaid behavioral therapist for a 250-pound man in a tank top. Devin is underpaid. Devin should be president.
Quote, "Devin waited. Chad finished the eggs. Chad began to set up for squats. Devin walked onto the gym floor. Devin said, quote, 'Chad, we talked about this.' End quote. Chad said, quote, 'It is a whole food, Devin.' End quote. Devin said, quote, 'It is a sanitation violation, Chad.' End quote. Chad said, quote, 'My great-grandfather drank raw eggs.' End quote. Devin said, quote, 'In a gym. Chad, in a gym.' End quote. End quote.
I in a gym. Chad in a gym.
A rhetorical structure so devastatingly precise that Devin, a regional manager at a Dallas 24-hour fitness, has, without knowing it, matched the rhythm of a closing argument from a 1950s courtroom drama. Devon is not arguing with Chad about the eggs. Devon is arguing with Chad about the premise of civilization itself. And Devon is winning.
Quote, Chad was banned for the third time, on the spot. Chad left without his shell, which Devon asked him to pick up, and which Chad pointed at and said, quote, that is evidence, end quote. Chad is, at the time of this writing, lifting at an Anytime Fitness 4 miles away. The eggs, as far as anyone knows, have not returned. But I am not optimistic, end quote.
That is evidence.
Chad, in a final act of defiance, has correctly identified the eggshell on the squat rack platform as evidence. Chad has also, in doing so, accidentally confessed. This is the only time in recorded history that a raw eggshell has been promoted by its own producer to the status of Exhibit A.
Letter the third, r/entitled bitch. The title, quote, a fitness influencer got arrested in my gym for filming a day in the life and refusing to stop when asked, end quote.
Day in the life.
A genre that has, in the last 5 years, produced more ruined Tuesdays in American commercial gyms than any single other cultural development since the invention of the deadlift. The, quote, day in the life, end quote, vlog is not a documentary. The, quote, day in the life, end quote, vlog is a request from the vlogger that every single other human being in the frame become, for the next 40 minutes, an unpaid extra in her entrepreneurial content pipeline.
Our author writes, quote, I work out at a boutique gym in Los Angeles. The gym has a strict no filming policy. The policy is printed on a sign at the front desk. The policy is printed on a sign on every mirror. The policy is printed on the treadmills. The policy is printed in small letters on the bathroom stalls. The gym is very serious about the policy, end quote.
Printed on the bathroom stalls.
A gym that has, in its own defensive architecture, posted a no filming notice inside the stalls themselves, which is a level of institutional paranoia that 9 years ago would have been considered unreasonable, and which, in 2002-06, is considered the bare minimum.
Quote, at approximately 4 p.m. on a weekday, a woman I will call Brianna entered the gym. Brianna was wearing a matching set in bright pink. Brianna was carrying a ring light, a tripod, a wireless lavalier microphone, and what I later learned was a GoPro mounted to a chest harness. Brianna checked in at the front desk. Brianna was told immediately, quote, ma'am, we do not allow filming, end quote. And
A chest harness.
Brianna has arrived at a no-filming gym with more filming equipment than the nightly news crew at an ABC affiliate in Bakersfield. Brianna has not, on the way in, looked at any of the 16 printed signs. Brianna has not heard, at the front desk, the full sentence. Brianna has, the entire time, been planning her own opening shot.
quote, Brianna smiled at the front desk girl. Brianna said, quote, oh, I am not really filming. I am just capturing content for myself, end quote. The front desk girl said, quote, that is filming. And Brianna said, quote, not really, because it is for my own page, end quote, end quote.
For my own page.
An argument that has been deployed in the last 10 years in approximately every single no-filming establishment in the entire state of California, and that has never, in any case, been legally persuasive. The, quote, my own page, end quote, defense is not a defense. It is, at best, a feature request. It is, at worst, a confession that the speaker does not know what filming is.
Quote, Brianna set up her tripod next to the squat rack. Brianna attached her ring light. Brianna clipped on the lavalier. Brianna began to film her warm-up. Brianna opened her warm-up with, and I am quoting from the recording that was later made public, quote, "Hey sisters, it is your girl Bree, and we are back in the gym for another day in the life of a full-time fitness entrepreneur," end quote. The front desk girl had, at this point, already called the police, end quote.
Full-time fitness entrepreneur.
A job title that, in the modern labor market, describes approximately 200,000 American women and the income tax returns of approximately 19 of them. Brianna is not a full-time fitness entrepreneur. Brianna is a part-time influencer with a day job at a marketing agency. Brianna has, in her own biography, committed fraud.
Quote, the gym manager, a woman named Lila, approached Brianna. Lila said, quote, "Ma'am, you have been told twice. You need to stop filming," end quote. Brianna turned the camera on Lila. Brianna said to the camera, quote, "You guys, this is so crazy. This manager is literally harassing me right now," end quote. Lila said, on camera, quote, "The police are on their way," end quote. Brianna laughed and said, quote, "No, they are not," end quote.
No, they are not.
A sentence that, at the moment of its utterance, achieves a level of dramatic irony that Shakespeare, in his finest hour, could not match. Brianna has, in a single breath, on her own camera, captured in high definition with a broadcast-quality lavalier microphone, her own total failure to anticipate the next 30 seconds of her own life.
Quote, they were on their way. 2 LAPD officers entered the gym, in uniform, approximately 90 seconds later. The officers asked Brianna to stop filming. Brianna refused. The officers asked Brianna to leave. Brianna said, on camera, quote, "I know my rights," end quote. The officer said, quote, "Ma'am, this is a private business," end quote. Brianna said, quote, "That does not matter," end quote.
That does not matter.
A ruling that, in the case of Brianna versus common sense, will not survive. The fact that Brianna believes private property law does not apply to her because she has a ring light is, clinically speaking, a symptom.
Quote, Brianna was arrested, on camera, live. The ring light captured her being cuffed. The lavalier captured her saying, quote, "You cannot do this. I have 200,000 followers," end quote. The officer said, quote, "I have no idea what that means," end quote. Brianna was taken out of the gym in handcuffs while her own GoPro, still attached to her chest harness, recorded every step, end quote.
I have no idea what that means.
The single most beautiful sentence ever spoken by a Los Angeles police officer on duty. Brianna, the only currency in Brianna's entire adult life, has been, in a single phrase, rendered valueless. 200,000 followers to Officer Rodriguez is a non-event. Brianna's life's work is not recognizable at the street level. Brianna is, in fact, not a celebrity. Brianna is just a woman, in cuffs, in a gym in Echo Park.
Quote, the footage ended up on the evening news. The arrest was shown in full with Brianna's permission because the GoPro was synced to her cloud account. And the cloud account was synced to her YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel auto-published the raw footage while Brianna was in holding. Brianna's own arrest was, by the time she made bail, the most watched video on her channel. It had 400,000 views, end quote.
auto. Published.
The universe has, in a single act, handed Brianna the viral video she has been chasing for 2 years on her own channel, and has done so by uploading, without her consent, the worst 30 minutes of her entire life. Brianna is now, in one specific sense, more famous than she has ever been. In every other sense, Brianna is ruined. Both are, technically, what she asked for.
Letter the 4th, r/Gym Horror Stories. The title, quote, "A guy at my gym has been recording deadlift ASMR at 6 a.m. every day for 8 months, and the gym just banned him." End quote.
Deadlift ASMR.
A phrase that no human being in the entire history of the English language should have been allowed to compose. The deadlift is not, structurally, an ASMR-compatible movement. The deadlift is loud. The deadlift is violent. The deadlift is, in terms of its ambient sonic signature, approximately the opposite of ASMR. And yet,
Our author writes, quote, "I have been lifting at the same gym for 7 years. I come in at 5:45 a.m. 4 days a week. For the last 8 months, there has been a new regular, a guy in his early 30s. He sets up every single morning at the deadlift platform, closest to the mirrors. He then unloads from an expensive messenger bag a large professional-grade microphone on a boom arm, a set of over-ear headphones, a laptop, and a small felt wind guard." End quote.
A felt wind guard.
an item that exists in the consumer electronics universe exclusively for podcast producers, for radio engineers, and now, apparently, for a single unidentified man at an LA Fitness in suburban Phoenix who is recording the sound of his own deadlifts for reasons that have yet, as of this letter, to be explained.
Quote, "For the first 2 weeks, I assumed he was a podcaster recording a quick sample and then would put it away. He did not. Every morning for 8 months, he has assembled the exact same rig in the exact same place at the exact same time, and he has performed the exact same routine. His routine is, in order, 1 warm-up set of 10 with the bar, 3 working sets of 5 at, I estimate, 3:15, and then, and this is the part, 30 minutes of, quote, mouth work, end quote, end quote."
Mouth. Work.
A phrase that, once heard, cannot be unheard. A phrase that presupposes an entire practice, an entire genre, an entire market. Our author has, in 2 words, opened a window into an internet subculture that every single person listening to this now wishes, desperately, they could close.
Quote, "The mouth work consisted of our deadlift ASMR guy sitting on a weight bench, holding the microphone approximately 2 inches from his own face and producing, in a close-up whisper, a running narration of his own lifts. Samples, which I have regrettably heard, include, quote, 'The bar is cold this morning, and I am going to show her exactly what warmth looks like,' end quote. 3 plates is not a number. 3 plates is an agreement between me and gravity," end quote.
An agreement between me and gravity.
The single most overwritten sentence ever produced by any human being at any commercial gym in the 6 a.m. hour on a weekday. Our deadlift ASMR guy is not talking to his audience. Our deadlift ASMR guy is not talking to the microphone. Our deadlift ASMR guy is talking, in a whisper, to gravity itself. And gravity, for the record, has not replied.
Quote, "I asked around. The gym's general manager, a man named Marcus, told me that deadlift ASMR guy has, over 8 months, generated approximately 140 complaints. The complaints are not about the deadlifting. The deadlifting, by all accounts, is fine. The complaints are about the whispering, about the camera, about the felt wind guard, about the sentence, quote, show her exactly what warmth looks like, end quote, end quote.
140 complaints.
A complaint volume, that is, for the commercial gym industry. Unprecedented for a single individual who was not, in any technical sense, breaking any specific rule. Deadlift ASMR guy has, through sheer force of personality, gotten himself banned for the general category of vibe.
Quote, Marcus banned him last week. The ban letter was, at my request, forwarded to me anonymously. It's cited, and I am reading this directly, quote, creation of an uncomfortable sonic environment inconsistent with the gym's standards of non-intimate public space, end quote. The Deadlift ASMR guy appealed the ban in writing. The appeal was, quote, 16 pages of audio engineering terminology, end quote. The appeal was denied, end quote.
Non-intimate public space.
A phrase that has, in the single stroke of a ban letter, established an entirely new legal category for commercial facility management in the United States. The non-intimate public space. The gym, the post office, the DMV, the Starbucks, all of which, from this moment forward, should have stamped on the front door the letters NIPS. And Deadlift ASMR guy should be, by statute, nowhere near any of them.
Letter the fifth, and the kicker, r/Gym Horror Stories. The title, quote, I filed a restraining order against a gymbro who memorized my workout split and showed up to every session for 3 months, end quote.
Memorized my split.
A level of commitment that would be, in any other context, impressive. A man has, without any access to our author's calendar, her Google account, her text messages, or her Apple Health data, reverse engineered, through observation alone, the exact day of the week on which our author performs leg day. And he has, on that specific day, week after week, for 3 consecutive months, been standing 10 feet away, ready to spot.
Our author writes, quote, I am a 32-year-old woman. I lift at a commercial gym in Austin. I run a simple 4-day split, push-pull, legs, and an upper body accessory day. I have been running this split for 3 years. I run it on the same days every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I do not keep my schedule a secret, but I do not publish it either, end quote.
A simple 4-day split.
A schedule that, in any functional civilization, should be of interest to exactly one person, which is our author. In this case, the schedule has, without her permission, become the operating manual of another individual's entire week.
Quote, in September, I noticed a new regular. I will call him Spencer. Spencer was always in the gym when I arrived. Spencer was always within 20 feet of me, regardless of where I was. If I was at the cable machine, Spencer was at the pec deck. If I was at the dumbbell rack, Spencer was at the adjacent bench. On legs day, Spencer was on the squat rack next to mine. Every single time, end quote.
Every single time.
A pattern so statistically improbable that our author's nervous system, by the 3rd week, had already completed the equation. The human brain is, among other things, a pattern recognition machine. And the brain of a woman in a commercial gym is, by evolution, the most refined pattern recognition machine on Earth. She knew. By week 3, she knew.
Quote, Spencer began to say things, at first, mild things, quote, good form on that set, end quote. Quote, you are really strong, end quote. Quote, your quads are looking crazy this week, end quote. Then, over the following weeks, less mild things, quote, I can tell you had a hard day at work, end quote. Quote, You are wearing the blue shorts again, end quote. And finally, the one I knew I had to report, quote, you always park in the same spot. I like that about you, end quote, end quote.
I like that. About you.
The single most terrifying 5-word sentence in the entire corpus of the subreddit. Spencer has, without disclosing it, been monitoring our author's parking spot. Spencer has not just memorized the workout split. Spencer has memorized the approach vector. Spencer is running, in his own head, a full operational surveillance file on a woman who has done nothing but leg press for 12 consecutive weeks.
Quote, I went to the gym's front desk. I asked to speak to a manager. The manager, a woman named Danielle, listened to the entire story. Danielle did not interrupt me once. When I was done, Danielle said, quote, I believe you. I have been watching him for a month. We just did not have enough yet. We have enough now. End quote. End quote.
I have been watching him for a month.
Danielle has, independent of our author, already been compiling a parallel investigation. Danielle has been pulling CCTV. Danielle has been comparing check-in logs. Danielle has, without being asked, been doing the work. Danielle, like Kelly in letter 1, like Devin in letter 2, like Marcus in letter 4, is the unacknowledged backbone of the entire American commercial gym industry. These women, frankly, run the country.
Quote, Danielle and I watched the security footage together. In the footage, over the course of 3 months, Spencer checks in, on average, 11 minutes before I do. Spencer always selects a machine adjacent to wherever I have previously worked out. Spencer has, on 4 separate occasions, switched machines mid-set from a machine on the other side of the gym as soon as I walked onto the floor. The pattern was, in Danielle's words, quote, airtight, end quote, end quote.
11 minutes before.
Spencer has, as his own arrival time, selected a window of 11 minutes. Spencer is not arriving early to work out. Spencer is arriving early to wait. Spencer is, in the most specific and clinical sense of the word, hunting.
Quote, I took the footage, printed my journal entries, and filed for a temporary restraining order at the Travis County Courthouse. The judge granted it in 12 minutes. The judge said, quote, I see this a lot. I wish I did not. End quote. The order prohibits Spencer from coming within 500 feet of me, my car, my home, and, specifically by address, the gym. Spencer is not allowed in the gym any day of the week. Not legs day, not push day, not at all. End quote.
I see this a lot.
A judicial observation, that is, in its casual delivery and its quiet heartbreak, the single most damning indictment of the American commercial gym experience ever entered into a county court record. The judge sees this a lot. The judge wishes the judge did not. The judge, on any given Tuesday, issues these orders in 12-minute intervals, 12 minutes apart, all day.
Quote, I went back to the gym the following Monday. Spencer was not there. He had, that morning, been served at his home address. I had an incredible workout. I went home. I slept for 9 hours. I woke up. I went back Wednesday. Spencer was still not there. I have had, in the 3 weeks since the order was granted, the best training block of my entire life. My deadlift has gone up 40 pounds. My push day has never felt cleaner. I did not realize, until Spencer was gone, how much of my capacity I had been spending every single session on Spencer. End quote.
How much I had been spending.
The single most important sentence in the entire episode. and the one that every woman in the subreddit has been trying to say, in slightly different words, for 11 years. The creep in the gym is not just a creep. The creep in the gym is a tax, and the tax, until the restraining order arrives, is collected in full. Every single set, from every single woman, in every single gym in the country.
5 letters, 5 crimes. A shoe, an egg, a ring light, a felt wind guard, and a parking spot. Each of these small items is, in its own way, the central piece of evidence in a small war that is being fought on the rubber flooring of commercial fitness facilities from Dallas to Austin to Phoenix to Los Angeles. The gym is not a sanctuary. The gym is on any given morning a contested zone. And the contestants, every single time, are the men who have decided that other people's bodies are public property, and the women and the managers and the Kellys and the Devons and the Danielles who are trying, with the full weight of their small authority, to keep those bodies private.
A contested zone.
And the only people winning the war on the ground, shift by shift, are the underpaid managers with name tags. Kelly, Devon, Marcus, Danielle, the quiet heroes of the American commercial gym. If any of you are listening, put it on your LinkedIn. I will endorse you personally.
This has been dispatches from r/Gym Horror Stories. I remain your correspondent. The shoe is evidence. The egg is evidence. The felt wind guard is evidence. The parking spot is evidence. Your body is not evidence. Your body is not contempt. Your body is not a contested zone. Your body is yours. And if a man in a tank top at a 24-hour fitness in the state of Texas attempts at any point to inform you otherwise, please, by all means, call Kelly.
Call Kelly.
Kelly is, at this very moment, already on her way. Kelly has been ready her entire career. Kelly was, in fact, born for this. The only question, at any given gym, on any given Tuesday, is whether Kelly has picked up the phone. She always does. She always will. Kelly is the whole institution.